Blair. Blair, honey.
We've had a lot of support so far on this project, which is really gratifying. We had a lot of people give us money last year to get us to Nova Scotia. Friends, community members, people we didn't know. And every little bit of that has meant that we've been able to take this project and put it in front of audiences. And that was for Unexpectedly Trans.
Nobody moves! Don't move! Try to play it cool. Try to play it.
This year, we're taking Bubble Trans Pride. So having an Ontario Arts Council grant via Buddies in Bad Times, it's a recommender grant. So Buddies in Bad Times recommended us to receive the funding in order to write Bubble Trans Pride. And it's allowed me to work not only with my collaborator, Cyrus Marcus Ware, who I'm thrilled to work with.
My name is Cyrus Marcus Ware, and I'm a visual artist and an activist and a trans person.
But also with Diane Flax as our mentor. And Diane is somebody that I've admired for a really long time.
I'm Diane Flax. I'm a writer and an actor and a playwright and a big fan of this project.
And I super loved her show Unholy. I felt like it really opened up the conversations around women and religion and around the ways in which we interact with religion.
It has been really exciting working with Hanlon and Cyrus on the beginnings of this project, because we actually started in a pretty fluid way where Hanlon came into my backyard studio and we talked through the ideas and then just brainstormed where this could go. And I'm really excited working with writers who have open minds and big hearts and an agenda. That's important.
Bubble Trans Pride tells a different kind of story, an intersectional story, a story that brings together understandings of race and gender, sexuality, all together in one story. It's really an essential story to be told at this moment. It tackles things like what happens when you're a political activist and you're dating and you're trying to be engaged in your community. What happens when you're transitioning and you're maybe too much of one thing or too little of another thing in the eyes of cisgendered people, and how that interacts with power and access to spaces and those kind of things. It's a story that is a complex story, a detailed story, a story about what it means to be trans in 2018. So I really think that this is an essential viewing at this current moment.
Don't know who wouldn't want to produce this play. I think it is gripping in a real human level. It's incredibly timely in the world that we are living in.
The Rainbow Grant that we received last year for Unexpectedly Trans was sort of the first thing that propelled us towards being able to take steps to make the theater that we think is important. And so all of our individual funders, all of those people that have given us their donations, their money, their time, their support, and there have been people that showed up to run our sound. There have been people who have done all kinds of different kinds of helping. Even the Goddard Street Library, I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but they let us rehearse there before Fringe last year. All of these things have meant that we feel like we have a really great team around us. And I really appreciate that whole team.
As an activist with Black Lives Matter, I'm very aware of what it means to do this work and how it impacts on the sort of social world around us, and what it means for the relationships that we have when we're so involved in sort of this kind of activism that's relatively high profile. So I really like that this story attempts to unpack some of that about what it means to actually live a life in a spotlight, what it means to live a life in a spotlight specifically about anti-Black racism, and sort of being enmeshed in seeing all of that through our daily lives. I think it's really wonderful to be able to have a story that unpacks some of that.
I really trust these creators to tackle this issue in a holistic and dynamic and bold way, while allowing many different points of view. And I think that's what we need right now, to listen and to speak.
This is a unique moment to be able to support something, a telling that hasn't been told before, an untold story, something that is really essential for 2018. So I hope that you'll support if you can, and help bring this story to life, because we really need to hear it.
I'm asking you to be part of our team, because we really can't do it without the support of the community and the government grants and all of that comes together in order to allow us to make this art, which I think is really important. Thanks for listening.